Rain's out, pain's out. Ah! You were supposed to hit me with a plastic knife! Plastic!
Pain's out!
Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Sun's out, guns out, although it is a very overcast day, so I guess the sun's not out. And actually the guns aren't out either because I have knives today instead of guns. It's sort of a windy day. I hope that doesn't interfere with the audio too much, but please forgive me. I want to talk to you today specifically about Boker Balisongs. If you're not interested in Balisongs, this probably isn't for you. But if you like Balisongs, also known as butterfly knives, I'd like to talk briefly about them. The name of the company I'm pronouncing Boker. It's probably more correctly pronounced Boker. From what I understand, it's a German name, and my German pronunciations are absolutely not good. So my apologies to anybody who speaks German or who knows better how to pronounce this name than I do. I'm going to be pronouncing it Boker. That's how I usually hear it here in the States. I only became familiar with their butterfly knives, their Balisongs, fairly recently, a few months ago. And I discovered that these were very affordable and they looked like they were high quality. And so I decided to try ordering a couple of them, and I'm very pleased with them. I'm very impressed. I'm not a huge fan of Balisongs. I like knives and they're useful and I collect them to some extent, and I have an interest in knives. I don't have a strong interest in Balisongs. So if you're a big Balisong guy, maybe you already know about these or you have an opinion about them. If you're not a big Balisong guy, like I am, you may not realize that there's a tremendous variation in quality. Most of the Balisongs on the market are inexpensive and they're also very low quality. They not only don't cut well, but they're not put together very well. They don't hold up to much use. They're sort of pinned or riveted together, and those pins or rivets come loose over time. There are a number of problems with inexpensive Balisongs. And around the $100 range, you start to get Balisongs that open and close smoothly and that last and are made of good quality components and that can cut well, that can perform well sort of overall, that are backed by a good warranty. You get some pretty good ones. The ones from Benchmade and the ones from Microtech have an excellent reputation. I've never owned either because I ain't that rich. They have an excellent reputation and are supposedly very, very good quality. I have no reason to doubt that they are good quality, but they are so much money that they're beyond the reach of a lot of people. I have come over the years to like the Kershaw Balisongs very, very much. They strike a good balance between price and quality. They're a good quality Balisong. They're backed up by a good company. I believe they are made in USA. And they are backed by an excellent warranty, but they're not terribly expensive. I want to say the Kershaw Balisongs start around $100, maybe $150, something like that. So you can get a quite good quality Balisong for not a huge amount of money. For what you're getting, that's a very good price, I think. And so when I saw these Boker Balisongs offered, I thought, well, I want to try them. I saw that they were being offered at what I thought was a good price. Okay, I've read that these Boker Balisongs are made in USA. I think maybe some of them are. I don't think the ones that I'm showing you today are, and I haven't been able to confirm that. I haven't been able to confirm country of origin. But they're marked Boker Plus brand, and I think that probably means they were made overseas. But what the Benchmades and the Kershaws and these Bokers have in common is they're held together with screws, and that can be problematic because screws can back out. But you know, they've got some Loctite on them. They've got some thread locking compound, and that helps keep them from backing out. And that allows you to adjust the tension. How much tension do you want to put on that screw? How tightly do you want this fitted? Do you want that blade to be able to swing really easily, which is usually the case? You want the blade to swing around because people want to do tricks and things like that with Balisongs, and they want to open these and close them very smoothly. I definitely don't do tricks with them. They are useful and traditional knives. They're a traditional type of knife from the Philippines. I don't know if they originated because people had trouble getting enough wood, but the Philippines have lots of trees, so I don't know what the problem is, but they're a folding knife that doesn't use any wood or anything like that. You can make them completely out of metal. Of course, that can make them very durable. They can be very easy to open and close with one hand, and in the days before thumb studs on knife blades, that was a huge benefit. Nowadays, almost every knife is easy to open and close with one hand, but traditionally that wasn't the case. Even when I was growing up, that wasn't the case. as often said, you only need a knife, you know, when you're holding a 20-pound fish in both hands, that sort of thing. You can't get your knife open. But yeah, so these Boker knives, I ordered these a few months ago, and I've had some time to get to know them and form opinions about them. This one is really tight. I mean, if I squeeze it, I can usually get that pin to fall. There we go. But it's snug, and I've actually discovered that I can squeeze it hard enough, especially if I'm not being careful. I can even cut myself on the blade that's in there. So that's not ideal. Not something that happens very often, but even once is too often. But anyway, we can pop this loose, swing it open. This has got a bead blasted blade and good sharp blade. Just a very useful knife. Again, I'm not really a Balisong guy, but I mean, as a pocket knife, you can open and close it with one hand. You can cut whatever you need to cut. Close it again, no problem. When I got this, the blade was turned the other way, so that when I held the knife thusly, the cutting edge was here. And I took out the screws, I disassembled all of this, turned it around, and these are a pain. I usually have to do this with every Balisong I buy because I guess I prefer it differently than the manufacturer sets it up. And some of them are easier to reassemble than others. I found both of these a real pain to reassemble, especially this one, which has these plastic handle scales on it. So if you're like me and you want to turn this around, or you just might need to disassemble this sometime, and the reason it's screwed together is so you can disassemble and you can perform maintenance. Bear in mind that these, especially this one, a real pain I found to disassemble and reassemble. So bear that in mind, you know, whether or not this might be for you. This has got little bearings in it that have to be replaced, and you know, they have to be put back in when you reassemble the knife, and they always want to fall out. But anyway, so I struggled and swore, and eventually did get these back together, and I got this reassembled the way I like it, so that when I open it like this, and this pin is under my pinky, I have my cutting edge here, I can make my cuts, and then open up that pin, close it again. I'm getting the spine of the blade against my fingers, so I'm not cutting myself, and then I can close it up again. This one was particularly difficult to disassemble and reassemble because it has all these tiny screws that hold on these plastic handle scales on the outside of this frame. And also this pocket clip. The pocket clip is super useful, obviously, because you can keep it clipped to your pocket, and when I pop this open, boom, I've got my knife. This one's got kind of a crazy complex grind here. We got this flat grind here, but then we have a kind of a divot down. I don't know what to call that. Much more taper. It tapers to a wicked sharp little point. We've got sort of a cutout on the back to keep it lighter. I like the shape of the blade. It's great. I mean, there's a lot to recommend this. The handles are comfortable. This one feels nice. These plastic scales, or G10 or whatever they are, they give this enough weight that it swings around with authority, and it's very easy to open and close because they just kind of want to move. This one's very polished. It's not sort of bead blasted like the other to give it that matte look. It's very shiny. Depends on what you like. I really like that bead blast. This is probably easier to keep clean, and it may resist rust a little bit better. I prefer that matte look. Your mileage may vary, you know, whatever you like. This one's got a little round pin, and the other one's more, I don't know, sort of squared off, for what that's worth. Each one comes wrapped up in sort of delicate paper, almost like rice paper, and comes in this little zippered pouch, and there's a manual in here and so on. I like the way they're presented. Guys, for the money, right now each of these is under $50. You can order them from Boker's website, and I think they're a heck of a bargain. I mean, Boker doesn't pay me to say that. They don't know who I am. I just discovered these months ago and bought a couple of them, and I like them a lot, and I'm just letting you know. I'm just giving you information. Oh, this one also has this little spacer, and when you disassemble, these two spacers, when you disassemble this, you've got to get those spacers back in. This one is a real pain to just disassemble and reassemble. I hope I don't have to disassemble this one again, although I probably will eventually if I'm using it. But yeah, they're both just, once they're assembled, they're set up the way you like. They're easy to use, and they're sort of tight where they need to be, and they're They move smoothly where they need to. I don't do tricks. If you want to do tricks, you have your own opinions about that. I can't tell you if they're good for that. I don't, spin them and twirl them and throw them in the air, nothing like that. But as far as Balisongs go, these are both outstanding. These are about the same size. The bead blasted one is a little bit larger than the one with the black handle scales. I'm pretty sure this one is called the Tactical Big D2. I'm looking at their website, and I'm pretty sure this one is called the Papillon, unless I am mistaken about that. Or maybe this is the G10 large D2. That doesn't sound, no, this looks more like the Tactical Big D2, based on what I'm seeing on the website. And they also make smaller versions of these if you like them smaller. I prefer about this size. This is about right for me. But again, it depends on what you like. Guys, if you like Balisongs, check these out. They're not expensive. They're under $50 direct from Boker. I've seen them on other websites for more money, but Boker's been having a sale on these for the last few months. I guess they're not popular. I don't know. I can't explain it. But they're really nice for the money. They compare very favorably with my Kershaws. If I had to pick one or the other, I would pick, I think I have a slight preference for the Kershaw, but let me tell you, these are excellent Balisongs to my mind for the money. If you've had experience with these, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about them. If you get one and try it out, let me know about that. But yeah, for those of you who are Balisong guys, check these out. They're not expensive. They probably aren't as nice as a Benchmade or a Microtech, but they also are like 1/10 of the money. So give them a shot. Oh. Honey, we rehearsed this. I say you were supposed to throw the plastic, but you actually throw the plastic knife. You don't throw the metal one.
Why would you give me 2 knives?
You know what? Why would I do that?